The online media category recognizes exemplary investigative work by any Canadian media outlet published or broadcast exclusively online. No part of these entries was published in print or broadcast over the air and was only available online via the outlet's website. There are 4 finalists in this category. The first finalist is Elizabeth Thompson from CBC News Politics Desk in Ottawa, whose entry dealt with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's now infamous December 2016 vacation to the Aga Khan's private island in the Caribbean. Thompson's work showed ties between the island and companies that lobbied the federal government and helped expose the money taxpayers forked over to get Trudeau, his family, several staff, and friends to the faith leader's vacation home. It helped break new ground on how much information about Trudeau's vacation and ties to the Aga Khan the PMO had tried to keep in the shadows, an issue that opposition MPs are still using to their benefit with their supporters. Our next finalist is Jeff Leo from CBC News Saskatchewan with his entry, The China Connection. They were the sort of announcements governments live for, splashy, sexy, and expensive investments into new developments. In this case, the global transportation hub, including a promised investment by Brighton View Developments International of a global trade and exhibition center that could house up to 300 vendors owned by Chinese businesses. Leo's work poked holes through all of these announcements, exposing how taxpayers were left holding land, politicians and bureaucrats cozied up to the wrong businesses, and a total failure of due diligence. The developments remain in the idea stage. The third finalists are Nicolas Mesli and Hugo Jolion-David for their French language entry Quand l'agriculture tue, When Agriculture Kills, filed for the Huffington Post, Quebec. In this 4-part series, the journalists dive into the pressures of farming and when those stresses lead farmers to make a tragic choice: death. Their work shows the impact of a suicide rate amongst farmers in Quebec that is higher than the Canadian rate and those of 8 other countries.
Je pouvais pas faire grand-chose pour aider, là. C'était hors de mes compétences. Les enfants étaient avec moi. J'ai dit, on est partis. Pendant 1 heure, les enfants et moi, on est partis. Et lorsque nous sommes revenus à la ferme, Francis, les gens le cherchaient, ils le trouvaient plus. Il était décédé.
The final nominee in this category is the National Observer's Mike D'Souza, whose entry takes a look inside the workings of the National Energy Board as it was considering a series of controversial pipeline proposals. D'Souza's work showed a lack of trust in the regulator, which is a critical body in the government examination of proposed energy projects that can result in either turning down a proposal or granting it, subject to conditions. Most concerning, D'Souza's requests led back to himself, showing the NEB had deemed his inquiries enough of a threat that it investigated him and, accidentally, they said, released his own banking information.